does that look like in midlife? What does that look like for us when we are over a certain age? And that is where we have to think outside of the box. And that is where we have to lean into a strategic plan. Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Carey Yazeed, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. So I want to start off by thanking everyone who made my first video of 2025 a huge success. Thank you all for tuning in, for liking, for sharing your comments, and especially for, being vulnerable and actually sharing your experience in the workplace and with, bad bosses and just corporations that allow bad leadership to continue. Thank you so much for just using this space to share what you have been going through. So one of the comments that I received in that first video was someone wanted to know, well, what is your strategic plan for 2025? This is hard, Actually, ageism is just out here running rampant with all of us. Unfortunately, companies don't see individuals like us as valuable once we reach a certain age. They don't understand that we hold a wealth of knowledge and information that could be just really valuable to their corporations. They kind of discard us. They look at us as being, too expensive. So for us, when we have lost a job in midlife, we've been terminated, or maybe even we've retired, but we still feel we've got some life left in us and we can still make a contribution to society. What does that look like in midlife? What does that look like for us when we are over a certain age? And that is where we have to think outside of the box. And that is where we have to lean into a strategic plan. So I know January 1st, everybody is pulling out their magazines and their glue and their scissors and their glitter. Or is that just me with the glitter? But anyway, it's vision board time. And so everyone is creating these beautiful vision boards, either with a poster board, or they're going over on Pinterest, or they're using Canva to create one and putting it on their phone. And that's great. That is wonderful. But in addition to that vision board, you're going to need a strategic plan. Having the pretty pictures is great, but if you don't have some action steps behind those pretty pictures, so you know how you're going to reach those goals that you set for yourself in 2025, guess what? It is just a board with some pretty pictures on it. It will just be that you are looking at, okay, this is just going to be something that I hang on my wall, but usually you don't get any use out of it. So what I found is that strategic plans help to reinforce the vision that you have for yourself for the new year. It helps to reinforce that vision board that you've created. So when I'm doing a strategic plan, the first thing that I do is I come up with an overall goal for the year. What is the big goal that I want to reach? For me, it is making 6 figures and being 100% in control of my income, not allowing someone else to be able to say at any given moment, you no longer have a job, girlfriend, you're fired, there's the door, all your benefits are gone, all your paychecks are gone, and you're starting from scratch. I never want that to happen to me again. I don't like the feeling. My bank account doesn't like it either. So those were my 2 goals for 2025. And so in reaching that, I had to sit down and say, how is that going to look for me? What will I be doing in December of 2025 that will let me know that I have accomplished those 2 goals, that I am making 6 figures and that I am 100% in control? So now that I've decided what my big goal for 2025 is going to be, now it becomes, how am I going to reach that? What will that look like for me? And so that meant for me going back and taking a look at things that I had accomplished in the past, dusting off my resume, not to send out to someone, but to look at it for myself. Also taking the advice of a business coach that I work with who suggested sit down and think about what has made you the most money in the past. And so for me, when I really sat down and thought about it, there are two things that stuck out: qualitative research and also writing and being an author. And with that comes speaking. So I guess we can say three things. So as a qualitative researcher, I have worked with major organizations and nonprofits in the past, helping them to assess where their employees were, their level of satisfaction, their level of psychological safety in the workplace. So as a qualitative researcher, if I got 4 contracts making $25,000 on each contract, that's $100,000, and I will have hit my financial goal for the year. It's as simple as that. So how does that look for me? Well, strategically, that means that I probably need to network away from social media. So getting out into the community, meeting with people, meeting with decision makers, business owners, leaders of corporations who make the decision, also HR individuals. And so where do they hang out? Well, I know in my community, it's the Chamber of Commerce. They're also hanging out at Rotary Club meetings. Honey, that is where the money resides, Rotary Club meetings. And so taking an initiative to ask someone if I could attend a Rotary Club meeting, they said yes. I went, I got to experience it and walked in the room and said, yes, honey, this is where you need to be. These are the people that you need to talk to. And sometimes reaching out to them on LinkedIn isn't how you do it. It's sitting at a table, having lunch with them in a setting that is meant for networking and for building community. Rotary Club does a beautiful job of doing that. So now my next step is to have my business coach to actually do the invitation for me to come into the Rotary Club, pay my dues, and start attending these meetings once a month. My next step is to start filling out requests for proposals, RFPs, that are requesting for someone to come in and do qualitative work. So I'm really excited about that. I actually submitted my first one for 2025 this month. So waiting to see what the response will be on that. And that one is actually a project working on surveying the reentry landscape in the state of Louisiana for prisoners who are returning home. So again, having a quantifiable goal, 4 contracts making $25,000 each for the entire year 2025 will put me at $100,000. That covers the qualitative research. When I look at being an author in 2022, I created a workbook. So Unbreak My Soul, How Black Women Can Begin to Heal from Workplace Trauma. And this workbook has gotten phenomenal reviews from women who have used it. And so I've done a lot of promotion on social media from the workbook. I've also developed safe spaces that people can come together, talk about their experience, but those safe spaces have been virtual. So again, looking at how can I make it quantifiable, looking at taking the safe spaces and starting to do them in person. So this spring, I'm going to have a tour. I'm visiting 5 major cities: Atlanta, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., New York, and London. And I am excited about that, having ticket sales, and the tickets are exclusive to the wait list. So knowing exactly how many people are showing an interest, which cities will really garnish the most participants, and which city might not be worth my time going there because there isn't a large interest. So again, gathering data. I started doing it again in December, looking at that information in the month of January, narrowing it down to what cities I want to visit. Also this month, securing a location for at least the first event, which will probably be either in Atlanta or Washington, D.C. But kicking off that tour, knowing how many seats I need to fill, that will cover the expenses, and I can also make a profit. Again, this helps me to reach my goal of 6 figures in 2025. And you hear me saying like monthly goals that I have. So part of a strategic plan is, yes, you have the big overarching goal, but taking that goal, breaking it down into smaller steps. So my smaller steps, 6 figures. Where can I get those 6 figures? Qualitative research, doing a book tour, promoting my workbook, and also speaking engagements. So speaking engagements is something that I've done in the past. So knowing that for me, usually a significant speaking engagement, a number for me will be 4 speaking engagements a year, making at least $5,000 per speaking engagement. So 5 times 4, that's $20,000 a year. So as you see, what I've done is I'm breaking it down. I know exactly what steps I need to take. And I also know how many of each of those things I need to do and what the price needs to be. For the qualitative research, I need to network at least once a month by going to a Rotary Club meeting or going to a Chamber of Commerce meeting or going to both. For the tour, taking the time to actually break down the steps of these are the cities that I want to visit. This is how many tickets that I want to sell, and setting a date, booking the venue, and sending out an alert to let people know when those tickets have gone on sale, and keeping it real exclusive. Also, speaking engagements, looking at taking 4 speaking engagements for 2025 and charging at least $5,000 per speaking engagement. And I also want to say this, with each of your steps that you accomplish, give yourself a reward. This helps to keep you motivated when you know that if once you accomplish that goal, you're going to get that glass of wine. You get to go to that movie. You get to buy a new outfit. You get a new pair of gym shoes. Like, really be intentional with the rewards that you give to yourself, knowing what keeps you motivated. So if you have found today's video informative, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you are not subscribed, what are you doing? I need you to hit that subscribe button right now so you'll know when my next video uploads. And most importantly, I need you to comment down below. Share your experience. Have you developed a strategic plan for 2025? I want to hear about it down below. Also, if you have any suggestions on new video topics, drop them down below as well. So again, thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.